Hello, this is Sharon Webb, Travel Tracker Implementation Specialist. Are you looking for a way to keep your database cleaned up, to keep your invoices up to date, and to maximize your reimbursements? Well, today's tip is for you. You know, periodically you need to be checking your Vehicle Owners tab and your Assignments tab just to be sure that your vehicles and drivers have been assigned to all of your trips. Now, when you click on your Owners tab or your Assignments tab, if you're a transportation admin, you know it defaults you to pending vehicle or driver assignments. And you may have noticed that it only shows you trips from this day forward by default, which is fine because hopefully there aren't any trips in the past that have not been assigned. But you do want to check every now and then to make sure that a trip may not have slipped through the cracks, so to speak. And you do need to get a vehicle and or a driver assigned to those. So periodically, come to your Owners tab or your Assignments tab, pending vehicle or driver assignment, and click the All Trips button. Now this is going to bring up any trip that even in the past that has not been assigned a vehicle and a driver. And you do want to take care of those trip requests. Either make the assignment that did go on the trip, or cancel the trip because maybe it did not go at all.
So you may wonder, well, why do I have trips out here that are in the past that need a vehicle and a driver assigned? Well, there is a very good explanation for that. One of them may be that, for example, like on this second trip, 2397 here, 3 vehicles were requested and only 2 have been assigned. So we need to take care of that, change the number of vehicles needed to 2 if only 2 went on the trip. And what that will do then will remove this trip from our list because the request has been completed. So let's do that. We're going to open up this trip request simply by clicking on it. And then we're going to scroll down to the vehicles needed section and find the number of vehicles requested is 3, and remember we only needed 2. So we're going to change that to 2 and then simply scroll down and save and close it. Now this trip, 2397, will no longer be in our list because we have completed the assignment. So let's look back at our all trip dates. And then 2397 is no longer showing there in our list. So what we've done there is completed the request, and then now we can go ahead and work with the invoice and get that out there to be paid, and then that whole trip then is completed, and when the time comes for it to go into the archive, it can go. So be sure you are just keeping up with your number of vehicles needed, and the number of vehicles assigned is the same number. Now, you know, it's a whole lot easier to go ahead and take care of that when you are assigning a trip. So let's just remember, I'll remind you on how to do that. We've looked at it before, but let's just look at it one more time here while we're talking about it. I'm going to click on this trip. They've asked for 2 vehicles, and let's say, for example, that as we're reviewing this, we are able to only provide them with 1 bus because that's all they're really going to need. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we take care of that now so we don't have to go back and do it later. So where they've asked for 2, we know they're only going to need 1. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to 1. And then I'm going to scroll down and save that using the Save Trip button here at the bottom. Now I can scroll up and find my available drivers. Notice here it's only saved 1 that I'm going to need. So let me go ahead and make my assignment and put in a driver. So now I have fulfilled the request of 1 vehicle and 1 driver. Scroll down, save and close this. Now that won't be a problem. This particular trip, the number of vehicles requested is the number of vehicles that have been assigned. Now one other little part of this, it's kind of what we're talking about of why our past trips still showing up. You can see a list of all those trips that are still showing up even in the past school year. So if you go to your trip request tab, we've given you an option here of an outstanding past fiscal years. And so what this is going to give you is trips that are in the past school year that are not completed. One reason might be just what we looked at. They have assignments that were requested and not fulfilled. Other examples for this may be because the invoice has not been marked. It's still a pending invoice. So what you're looking for when you come to your trip request, outstanding past fiscal years, is a blank screen like this. But what if you see something? Well, let's talk about what do we do with those past fiscal years trips. What if we click on our trip request tab, outstanding past fiscal years, and we see a lot of trips out here that have not gone into the archive for the past school years? What do we do with those? Well, we have to make sure that they are completed. And one thing you want to look for is my number of vehicles assigned the same as my number of vehicles requested. And so if that's the same, two requested, two assigned, you know that's not the reason, and we would not resolve that in that way. So the reason probably then is going to be it's the invoice. The invoice is still pending, and so we need to go in to our invoices tab and take action on that invoice. Go ahead and mark it approved for payment if that's what you're going to do. Perhaps you're going to mark them do not bill. Whatever your situation is there that you need to make an adjustment there to your invoices. So keep an eye on this section, the outstanding past fiscal years, and if you do have trips that have not archived, it's because one of those reasons. Either the assignment is not equal to the number requested, or the invoice itself has not been marked as approved for payment or paid, or whatever your final invoice status is. So just take action on those invoices. I hope this is helpful, and I hope that you will be able to utilize these tips that I've given you today. Thank you.